What is up, YouTube? No, I'm just kidding. Shout out C-Bum. First of all, ignore these 2 pimples on my face. It looks like I got bit by a vampire in the chin. But it's such a beautiful day out, and I got a lot on my mind, and I didn't want that to stop me from making this video and hopefully sharing some knowledge with you guys. So here we are. I'm just pretty much in my backyard right now. I love it here, man. I mean, the nature is just, it really clears your mind, allows you to think. And I just love being in nature because of that reason. Especially on a day like this, you know, tomorrow's Easter, the day where Jesus Christ is resurrected. And it's probably the most beautiful day in history. And you just got to sit on days like this and just think, you know, all that he went through for us to save us from our sin, all that he went through, and then the ultimate validification when he rises from the dead. It's just amazing to think about, because I mean, everything that he said to be true was true, and he proved it to be true. Everything he said about him and himself and God, he proved it all to be true on tomorrow, on that day. But yes, gotta appreciate days like this. But today, I said in the last video I was gonna get on a little bit about the self-improvement topic and what what it means, what it is. And I'm sure there's other people out there that are way more knowledgeable in this subject. I've only been on my journey for probably less than a year now, and but it's been amazing. I've learned a lot, and I definitely have learned enough to make this video confidently and say that I have some things that people can know, people should know, and people should learn about. And that's what this video, the purpose of this video is for. But basically, I think when it comes to self-improvement, people tend to think of it, especially, you know, with social media nowadays, people tend to think of it as like a trend almost. Like kind of something that they can just hop onto and then, yeah, I'm part of the club. I'm part of the 1%. Reality is, it's not that simple. It's amazing that we're able to like form these different, you know, connections with people we don't even know from around the world, and that way we can feel included in like a group, kind of like a movement almost. And so that is fun, but you know, it doesn't mean anything if that's your main purpose, is to just feel included, right? But basically, when it comes to self-improvement, it's really just a journey of figuring out who you are. And when you think about that, then this journey pretty much is never ending, because the purpose of life is to really figure out who you are and figure out who God calls you to be. I think that's the meaning of life. Simple as that. I want to know what y'all think. That's my personal belief, is to just find out who you are and spend your entire life doing so and finding out who God calls you to be. And once you find that, then you go all in with it. And I think that's where God excels in blessing our lives, is whenever we know something is good and we give into it and we do good. I think that's whenever he excels in, you know, allowing us to live in his grace and, you know, where he blesses us. I think that's where it really matters. So I want to know what y'all think about that part of it, because I know a lot of people have a lot of different views on it. Again, these are my thoughts, my views, and yeah, I'm curious of what y'all have to say. So, but anyways, self-improvement, you know, again, it's not really a trend. It's really something that you just have to figure out for yourself and stick to it. You know, I can't say that I've been perfect. You know, first few months, I was here and there. I think once you first establish that you are committed to this journey, it doesn't really go away. It always sits in here. Even if you know you're not doing what you need to be doing, you know that you should be doing what you're doing, if that makes sense. It's really a mental thing, and it's always there once you really start your journey and commit to it, because you realize that that's the only way to go. At least that's how it was for me. And so once I opened my eyes to that, I realized that this is the only thing for me to do. Why should I do any other way when I know that this is what I'm committed to, and I know that this is good, this is right? And basically, it's just like I said, when you commit the rest of your life to doing so. And it's such a good feeling. It's amazing, because whenever you actually excel at it and you actually try and work hard for yourself and for God, then things just start coming, and you realize that this is how you live the life you want to live. You realize that this is how to live a good life. And once you realize that, you don't really want to take any other route. Now, of course, everyone's paths are different. Like, I have to figure out what my purpose is and go in with that. My purpose isn't going to be the same as Sylvester Stallone. It's just not going to happen. I think we're all unique, and God created us all for different reasons, for a different purpose. And so why do you think that you should follow what someone else is doing? I think that's where the confusion comes in about self-improvement. It's like, I'm just going to do what he's doing. I'm going to follow his morning routine and do everything he's doing. And yeah, that could maybe get you somewhere to an extent, but then it's going to get to a point where you're going to be lost because you're going to be seeking something that was never inside of you this whole time. If that makes sense. And I think that's where a lot of people slip up and they chase all these earthly things and these earthly materialistic things, because if that's simply what you're chasing, if that's where your desires lay, then you'll really never be fulfilled. And that's what self-improvement is about, is just chasing yourself and your desires. Not these earthly things, not money. Because if you realize when you take the route to live the best life possible, the life that you know to be good, to be true, then things will just come, because that's going to be a necessity. Like if I know that my purpose is to live the best life where I can travel, where I can just experience God's glory and just experience life, well, I'll probably need some money. And so money will just come if that's where my goals are. But my goals are just set on money. Sure, I can accumulate a bunch of money, but am I really going to be fulfilled from that? Because I'm not going to know what to do with all the money. I'm just going to have it. And it's going to get to a point where money won't mean anything. And so that's where, you can talk about the whole people in power or whatever, because that's what happened to them. They get to a point where money means nothing. And so what's more desirable than money? Power, control. And so that's a whole different topic, which you all have probably dove in yourselves. But yeah, I think really that's just the gist of self-improvement, is really just finding out your purpose, sticking to your journey. You can't really be like anybody else, because once you're committed to it, you know that you're gonna have to make sacrifices, and you know that you're gonna be different from a lot of other people, because most people aren't aware of this, and they don't know how to create that own path for themselves and like to follow other people do. And once you notice that, how many people actually do that, then I think it makes you even more committed, because you realize that this is how people succeed. This is how people are different. At least that's my mindset, my kind of thought process about it. Again, I don't know what y'all think, but yeah, it's a wonderful feeling. It's beautiful. You realize that every day is a new opportunity, and every time, every minute you lack and you think to yourself, and you know deep down that what you're doing isn't good, then it motivates you even more, because you know what you need to be doing. Those are pretty much my general thoughts on this topic. I think this could be made in a separate video, really about what it is. Again, I think the purpose of it is different for everybody. The journey should be different for everybody, because at the end of the day, you're your own person, and you're only going to get so far whenever you just follow down someone else's path. You really have to create your own and stick with it. And once you realize that you are sticking with that, then it's the best feeling. You don't want anything else, because you know that that's right. It's really just a feeling that you have, and once you begin that feeling, once you first have it, it doesn't really go away. And I could be God calling you. I think a large part of it is. And I also just think it's just our inner desires on just life in general. I mean, I think at some point all of us experience the question, why am I here? What am I here for? And like I already said, I already kind of expressed my thoughts on what I think to be true about that. But I think once you have that question, then everything really changes. And you start to see things kind of fall into place, and it's just beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. So I just encourage you all to be content with yourself and your own mind, your own thoughts, because we all know who we are inside. We all know that there's something inside of us that makes us us, makes us unique. And once you become aware of it, just accept it and stick with it. You can't really care what other people think, because when you do that, then what good does even going down your journey matter if you're just gonna do what other people care about? Because at the end of the day, especially now, I mean, I feel like people care more than ever, especially my generation. I feel like a lot of things that people do revolves around how people perceive them. And yeah, I think that it's important to have a good self-image and, portray yourself in a way where you're respectable and you're kind, you're loving, you're good, you're nice, you're confident. I think you need to present yourself nicely, but don't overdo it to a point where you're only doing it just for the sake of how other people see you, right? I could be better at it too. I like kind of dressing up nice because I feel like it enhances just my persona, and I feel like it kind of gives me power. But at the end of the day, that's just something that people are going to see, and I don't have to prove who I am by wearing nice clothes, So that's just an example of something. That's something I could probably work on. I think that seems to be more important than it actually is, thinking about it. But, yeah, just do you. Stick with it. And watch the blessings happen to you. Watch the blessings fall into place. So, I'm going to leave y'all with that to end this video. I just encourage you, take some time, just go outside. I think that's really what did it for me. I always had a deep connection with just nature. And one day I was just outside and I had the question just come across my mind. No phone, just sitting there in my thoughts, Just take the time to just think about you and who you want to be. It's really a tough question, but it's doable. And I think the longer you work on it, the easier it is to figure it out. I just got swatted by a bee. But yeah, I'm leave y'all with that. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Have a good Easter. The ultimate sacrifice was made. Jesus Christ. Show your glory to him. Show your glory to God. Show your glory to yourself. And I'll see you all in the next video.